Hi, Cliff. This is Adam. I'm going to do my best to try to respond to your second question today. I apologize for being a little late to the game, but I've had some stuff going on and I'm trying to get through all that. So I'm going to just take a few minutes and try to address, considering the four models that you proposed and really looking at the Indiana model and also reading in St. John's et al. Um, about North Carolina and the work that we've done and what's been successful and what's not been successful, and really thinking about the four levels of the Indiana case with the 21st century scholars, connecting that scholarship program with higher education admissions and the support services involved and all that. So I really want to touch on your first question in terms of is it a comprehensive model, but also looking at North Carolina and seeing where we can really work with that. In trying to address a little bit of your first question, it's a really comprehensive model, but I don't think there's any model in the country that is going to account for everybody. Honestly, just because we don't have the resources to account for everybody. When we think about the performance-based funding stuff that's coming through, which is what I've done my final paper advocacy brief on, we really just don't have the money to give every student who needs money resources. If we look at merit, and merit only, then we're really minimizing the access and the potential that we have to provide to students. Thinking about the comprehensiveness and the supportive nature of teaching teachers, creating access models, creating avenues for students to be successful, Indiana did a great job with that. But in fact, frankly, they can't maintain that type of experience, unfortunately. So when we think about moving forward, we have to diversify the funding streams. We have to diversify the conversation around it. So I think that if North Carolina is going to adopt some of these practices, we need to be looking at the current revenue streams that we have. We need to be branching out to potentially looking at income tax connections, or diving into a little bit of the, I'm not a big fan of this, but I think there's revenue to be had there, is the education lottery. I think that as we listen and talk with folks around the class and listen to Dr. Brooks speak a little bit, I start thinking that there's a lot of good things that happened in Indiana with them really diversifying the landscape of their institutions, even though they really initially didn't really have two-year institutions, but really growing and opening that up so that we in North Carolina can learn from that, because we have a very robust 17 campuses in the UNC system. We have a plethora of community colleges that are also in connection with this. So we've got a lot of students, we've got a lot of resources, we've got a lot of expectations, but we can't just put all our eggs in one basket. We can't look at just performance numbers and say, that's the end result. That's the only thing that we can look at for this entire conversation. So I give credit to Indiana for really trying to diversify. I think that's where we can really learn from them, and that if we take a little bit of everything, if we take some need-based information, we take some merit-based stuff, and not so much of the merit within the need. I'm really concerned about that when Dr. Brooks brought that up, and that's something we can talk about on a different video. But I think that because of the challenges of increased revenue, lack of revenue, increased students, increased expectations of outcomes, we're not going to maintain the high level of education that we have in this country if we don't really change up the system. So I'd love to get your thoughts. Again, I referenced St. John's and colleagues, our wonderful holy book of the class, if you will. And great. Thanks so much, and I look forward to hearing from you.